There we go. Hi, hi, hi YouTube. Hold on. Hi YouTube. Wait, which one? I'm already scuffed. Is it? No, that's right. Which one is? Well, no, that's not it either. Which one is Boom again? God dang it. Okay. Hi YouTube. Hi. First video on my new form. Hello. I failed. I failed so much. I failed. Hi. Okay, crap. I just pressed it. Now I forgot. Okay, it was through. Alright. Hi, YouTube. Nice to see you again. Finally doing new videos. I still got some backlog, so it was. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm sorry it took a while from you guys to finally put into new reactions with my current form. So, yeah, thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hi. Alright. So, we're gonna react to a video by our boy Mujin, who uploaded documentary about unparalleled 100 million disaster of Mindseye. Now, I heard so much stuff about this game, how much it's a filler, even from one of the actors who played the main character. It's like, oh, it's that bad? Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I hope the volume is fine. Okay, let's see.
Is one of the most long-awaited games of our generation. The excitement surrounding it is indescribable and it's very contagious. So much so that I believe it's caused some people to go clinically insane. Because why else would certain people say that Mindseye is a direct competitor to Grand Theft Auto 6? With some going as...
Wait. A competitor? How well did that work out for you? I'm sorry. I am sorry. Holy fuck. I'm so sorry. You walked in. Also, what you mean? I do forget more than you, but still, you still talk about me. So, haha, it happened to you. So, I'm not alone. Haha. Okay, anyway, I'm tweaking. I moved my camera by accident. I bopped my freaking desk. Okay, hold on. There we go. But yeah, we're watching documents of the Unparalleled 100 million disaster of Mindseye. It's ridiculous. You sit I do not sit. Chat. Defend my honor here. Also, YouTube, my YouTube blossoms. Defend my honor in the comments. Blues, defend my honor. Show them I do not sin.
far as saying that Mindseye is the GTA 6 killer. Now look, I don't know about you, but I think Mindseye is actually a direct competitor to Silent Hill. Because how else would you explain this? One of the many man-made horrors beyond
What is this? This is what my stress looks like if it had a form, to be honest. Yeah, it's the GTA 6 killer.
apprehension that we witnessed once Mindseye finally released in June of 2025. So how is it that people had such high expectations for this game that they were crazy enough to even put it in the same category as GTA 6? Well, part of the reason why was because the game director of the studio behind Mindseye was the main producer on every single game made by Rockstar Games since 1999. His most recent title being GTA 5. Not to mention that they raised millions of dollars from investors, with one employee going as far as saying that this game actually cost over $500 million.
Oh no, this is Concord all over again. Oh my god. 100 mil? And apparently it's actually 500 mil. Y'all are wasting money. Oh my god. It's like having that spoiled brat that would just, spend money like it's nothing on stupid shit. You get flashbacks. I've seen this before. I've seen this play before. I'm sick of this. 500 million budget, and they got the nerve to up the prices in this economy. But y'all have no problem spending this much. 80 poos, chat. 80 poos. 80 poos. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. At all.
So what the hell happened?
Oh.
Does the game have less than 69 players on Steam right now?
Y'all, not even the magic number. They didn't even choose the number. They don't have the magic number. No. Oh. 500 mil, Chad.
Now, Mindseye is officially the worst rated game on Metacritic for the year of 2025. A game giving Concord a run for its money. So what went wrong? Well, this didn't happen overnight. This was a multi-year disaster. There were many red flags that were ignored by people, blinded by the hype, and we're gonna go through all of them from the beginning together. So get ready, let's do this. Vampires are like ice cream. Everyone loves them as long as they don't look like this.
Listen, they use right as long as they don't look like.
This vampire.
Yeah. Who's this? What anime is this? What manhwa is this? Who hot? Who is this? I'm sorry. Oh, don't tell me. I never. Who is who? Who is fun? Oh. Okay. Well, hold up. Off chat. Hold up. I'm sorry.
Are like ice cream. Everyone loves them as long as they don't look like this, which is why a team of developers set out to create the game Silver and Blood. Guys, sponsor aside, okay? This game's art style is
wow, he answered it for me.
I think of a gothic,
Silver
dark
Blood
art style, and this game manages to capture this perfectly, both in its environments and its playable characters like the one you see right now. One thing it does uniquely is that it's
the only ad I'm willing to watch.
Its playable characters like the one you see right now. One thing it does uniquely is that its cutscenes rival professionally made anime. It's indistinguishable from something you'd find on Crunchyroll. This should definitely make your ADHD brain focus on the story for
ADHD brain?
Speaking of story, in between these cutscenes, you're going to find some highly engaging strategic gameplay. You'll have many characters at your disposal, all with their unique.
Oh my god, I don't know. Should I try this game out?
You'll have many characters to choose from, both on release and in the future. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment and download.
I might try it out because that vampire was high.
Right, so for you to understand,
I am not getting horny on vampires. I am not getting horny on vampires. What you mean? Huh? What you mean? What? I am not getting horny on vampires.
Came to be, we have to talk about its origin story. It all started with a $150 million lawsuit by legal agencies against Rockstar Games and its parent company, Take-Two. You see,
They're
Leslie is
suing?
a veteran of Rockstar Games. He was there since
Said it for real.
1999.
Shut
His
the
role
hell up.
was
I
a
did not
producer,
say.
but obviously producer is a very vague term these days. Listing his achievements would probably help more. He was the guy who single-handedly formed the team for Grand Theft Auto 3. And as a producer, he continued doing that for the next Grand Theft Autos and leading their entire production pipelines. I mean, when he first joined the company, it was still called DMA Design before changing its name to Rockstar Games. That's how long he's been at the company. But speaking of company, I'm sure you're aware that Rockstar Games is actually owned by Take-Two Interactive. But because of the very big success of their games, Rockstar Games does enjoy a big degree of independence, and it has its own hierarchy. Its main leaders are the Hauser brothers, so Sam and Dan Hauser, as well as Leslie, who's been with them since the beginning, since the days of
Of course, one is bald.
On September 1st, 2014, Leslie decided to take a sabbatical. Think of it like a really long vacation, this one lasting 6
like
months. Leslie argued that during these 6 months, he didn't receive any of his owed royalties by Take-Two. And additionally, when he came back to the office after those 6 months, he was refused entry. Shortly afterwards, Rockstar Games released a
Y'all, they're wrong for that. What's your mood? Refuse to pay him. Y'all wrong for that. Come on now. Come on. Y'all are... What's your mood? Who doesn't get paid for all the work he's done? You got the right to sue.
The first contributions and essentially saying goodbye. So less than a year later, he sued them. The lawsuit detailed just how dirty the politics inside of Rockstar Games were, saying that he was forced to take a sabbatical and that when he did, his own son, as well as many of his friends at Rockstar Games, were very quickly fired afterwards. The lawsuit then specifies that Leslie believes this happened because the Hauser brothers, more specifically Sam Hauser, felt threatened that Leslie was trying to take over the company. Leslie, on the other hand, said that without him, GTA 3 would have never been a success because what Sam was doing was mediocre. Take-Two countersued and called his actions bizarre and unwarranted. When this happened in 2016, it was a pretty big story because it gave us perspective, an inside scoop as to what happens inside the secretive Rockstar Games. But as this was all happening, Leslie wasted no time whatsoever. 12 months after presenting his lawsuit, he formed a new studio in Scotland as well as a studio in Los Angeles to build a game titled Everywhere. The team was initially comprised of 30 people, and they, just like Leslie, were incredible veterans of the
that
gaming
was
industry.
cool. Okay, I was wondering what the
popular
was.
titles. The company didn't even have a name yet, but Leslie was already making some pretty big promises about what Everywhere is going to be, promising that it's going to be a massive open world where you can do virtually anything. Their website at the time was very simple. That's how it looked. It would just say Everywhere and then would have 4 different sections. What, where, and who told you a bit more about the studio and their very vague vision. And of course, you had a career page. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that Leslie Benzies was actually the director of GTA Online, GTA 5's multiplayer that has generated over $1 billion in revenue.
That's crazy.
So him saying that he was going to make a
the
game
amount of money that
saying
made.
things like the vision is long-term with the capacity to develop and grow forever, as well
Pretty
as
much.
our goal is to create a platform where players can be entertained and also entertain others while blurring the lines between reality and a simulated world, was definitely hyping things up to the maximum. This was all said with the announcement of him forming a studio. The studio didn't even have a name, and yet the expectations were astronomical, and why wouldn't they be? This was the ex-director of GTA Online and the guy who had formed the team for GTA 3. He was also unjustly fired from Rockstar Games, according to him, and was forming his own studio as a way to give a middle finger to his previous employers by making a more successful and next-generation game that will blow Grand Theft Auto out of the water. That was the narrative that game journalists were going with.
But then again, the game journalists have been
wild. The consumers gladly ate that up. And bear in mind, this was all 8 years ago. Now, we wouldn't hear much about the game or the studio until 2020, when the pandemic was in full swing and every studio was beating their records of player count for their multiplayer games. Money was flowing into the industry like there was no tomorrow, and it was the perfect time to find eager investors because the excitement was simply too contagious. This was when Leslie was able to raise over 32 million pounds, in other words 45 million USD, for his studio, which had a name now, Build a Rocket Boy. Yeah, I know, Build a Rocket Boy, Everywhere. I mean, seriously, who the hell's coming up with these names? In any case, they now had studios in Edinburgh, Budapest,
well, the
and
Everywhere
Los
wasn't
Angeles.
too bad, but the Build a Rocket
studios, which meant they were growing very fast.
That's a
By 2020,
mouthful.
this was their key staff. And as you can see, it's a star-studded team. Personally, what drew my attention was the cinematic director who had worked on Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, or the lead programmer who worked on GTA 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell me they had all this talent and they all messed up with this gum? You mean to tell me all that talent was for naught? They didn't have their comeback that they were hoping for. Oh.
The talent was clearly there, but there was one big question on everyone's minds. When were we going to see like a single detail about what the hell Everywhere was? Well, we finally got an answer to that question in the summer of 2022 during Gamescom, where they would release this 1-minute 15-second teaser.
Why does that feel like it's 10
this
years
game
ago?
Actually is. And to be honest, it only caused more confusion because what the hell is this? People were expecting something realistic, something that can rival Grand Theft Auto, but all we saw was like a discount Fortnite. To say that people were disappointed and confused is an understatement, but that was until we had reached the 50-second mark in the trailer. This is when, for the first time ever, Mindseye would be revealed. Watch. Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Was the first 50 seconds like a prank? Is this the real game? That's what people were hoping for. But instead, things got even more confusing. At the time, Leslie Benzies said that Everywhere was going to launch at the end of 2023, but that it was a completely separate title from Mindseye, confirming that they were working on not one, but 2 AAA games at the same time. Now, this is already crazy news for a new studio that had not released a single game yet. But don't worry, things got even more confusing because according to Leslie, you'd only be able to play Mindseye through Everywhere. You wouldn't be able to buy Mindseye on like the PlayStation Store or something. No, you'd have to go through Everywhere and get Mindseye from there. Yeah, you're not the only one who's confused.
I hate that. I don't want to do that.
The whole point of Everywhere is like a knockoff Fortnite Roblox. You have access to a deeply functional
Fortnite Roblox
where you can make your own experiences for other players to enjoy, and Mindseye just happens to be one of those experiences. So what they were saying is, imagine launching Roblox and one of the experiences happens to be Mindseye, which is a ridiculous
now with 1,000 new bugs.
Here is that Mindseye is just another experience that was going to be available in Everywhere, which meant that me and you, regular people, could potentially, in the level editor, create something as crazy as Mindseye with Everywhere's tools. You see what I'm saying? But no need to panic. This is not a red flag. You know why? Because they opened a 4th studio in Montpellier, France. They kept expanding even further. And as people waited until the end of 2023
but I
for
can't
Everywhere to finally launch,
I don't think I have the
they were only met with yet another trailer.
I don't think I have fast food.
Another trailer dropped about Everywhere, detailing the fact that yes, you can make levels, you can play against players or with them, build a bunch of different experiences, showing off the level editor, etc., etc. But as you can see from the dislike ratio, people just didn't really care about this discount Fortnite anymore. The most replayed part in this entire 1-minute 42-second trailer is right here at the 1-minute 19-second mark. You're probably wondering why. Well, let's check it out. Oh, that's it. That's literally 1 second of Mindseye gameplay. In other words, people could not give less of a shit about what Everywhere was. And you can see this sentiment reflected in the comments. Like this one saying, 119 is the only thing I'm interested in from a former GTA producer. A Fortnite knockoff just won't cut it. People were starting to get very skeptical about the scope that was being advertised by this company. They just didn't know what it was meant to be, and every time Leslie opened his mouth to explain, people were left with even more questions. And as you guessed it, because we're in 2025 now, Everywhere didn't end up releasing at the end of 2023. They just went radio silent and didn't update anyone on anything. And the next piece of news we'd get from the studio was that they were going to have layoffs on the 19th of February 2024. Not a good sign. You know what else is not a good sign? This article revealing to me for the first time that they also had offices in Hungary. So far, we've heard of a studio in the United States, in Scotland, in Belgium, in Hungary, and in France. That's 5
Why so many? I haven't heard. For a supposedly new studio to have that many different I don't think I've heard of that. I heard like down the line they expand, yeah, but what? I'm happy to hear you're good, Rillos. Really under? Lalo. What were they thinking?
Total. And yet, Everywhere had, well, gone nowhere, and we didn't even know if Mindseye was going to release
Nowhere.
until the end of 2024, when the studio behind the Hitman games, IO Interactive, announced to the world that they would be publishing the game Mindseye. What followed a few months afterwards on February 2025
Ooh, how much
do
do they regret it, chat? How much do
they
regret it now?
Gameplay trailer for Mindseye. But here's the thing.
Screw me too!
Gameplay trailers like for GTA or other blockbuster games, they would be detailed and long videos explaining mechanics with a voiceover and really showing you the depth of the game. But this felt more like a cinematic trailer, or more like a teaser, really. It only showed you very specifically selected clips with a few seconds of gameplay in each of them. At this point, Builder Rocket Boy's trademark was showing you something that leaves you with more questions, but not in a good way, and it was pretty much what happened here too. They also released a story trailer, which was mostly just a cinematic trailer yet again. I mean, it was just cutscenes, no gameplay whatsoever. But hey, the game had finally gotten a release date, June 10th, 2025,
June 10th.
or as we know it, Judgment Day. What about Everywhere? Well, barely 2 weeks before Mindseye's release on the 29th of May 2025, we'd finally get some sort of confirmation that Everywhere was pretty much dead in the water. Build a Rocket Boy had confirmed to the Video Game Chronicle that the entire creation suite, the entire level editor of Everywhere was going to ship inside of Mindseye. In other words, Mindseye was meant to be a part of Everywhere, but now Everywhere is a part of Mindseye. Feels like we're in some Doctor Strange movie. But this was just an unofficial way of saying, hey guys, Everywhere's dead. We're now focusing all of our resources on Mindseye. This was a huge red flag, but people were still hopeful, thinking, okay, well now that you're focusing on one thing, I'm sure you're gonna make it worthwhile, right? Well, hey, game journalists sure pushed that narrative. I mean, look at what PC Gamer said when the official story trailer came out. This was the title of their article. The new game from former Grand Theft Auto producer Leslie Benzies is coming in June, and boy, it sure looks like a Rockstar game. Or how about this ridiculous title from Games Radar saying, former GTA 5 lead properly shows off his new city-sized action game coming this summer, and yep, it looks like Cyberpunk 2077 meets GTA. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. God, gaming journalists are a plague. The game was already hyped beyond belief, and this was only confirming that hype. I mean, this is a French video game website calling Mindseye the next rival of GTA 6. Leslie talked about these comparisons 8 days before Mindseye released, and he downplayed these Grand Theft Auto 6
It's like that one homie that you know they're bullshitting, but you can't help but be entertained.
The challenge is balancing innovation with familiarity. Too much new risks alienating fans, too much same feels stale. It's about nailing what makes your game's world feel alive and urgent. Mindseye is about consequence and connection. It's cinematic, reactive, and meant to feel like a world you're not just playing in, but able to create in too. So guys, this is not just another Grand Theft Auto knockoff. This is like the Elder Scrolls Skyrim with the creation engine, but on steroids. Guys, this game will be played in 2040. You just watch, okay? But here's the thing. One day, and I'm not even joking here, literally one day after that interview with Leslie came out, and 7 days before the game's release, the chief legal officer and the chief financial officer of Builder Rocket Boy left the company. I mean, at that point, if he had actually pre-ordered this game, then I wish that Total Biscuit was still alive so that he could slap you across the face. But if you had pre-ordered and hadn't refunded at this point, then you deserve to lose your money, because what the hell is this? 2 executives departing before the studio releases in 1 week is an insanely major red flag. And
that's crazy.
Others were also onto something too, like this article from Gaming Bolt here saying Mindseye's marketing is a complete mess, arguing that the game was
so those who wrote those articles before, how do y'all feel?
You didn't even know what the hell this game is, other than a few cinematics and very carefully timed clips of some tiny aspects of gameplay. Additionally, this game hadn't even supplied anyone with review copies. As this comment here points out, even Gollum gave review copies. Gollum, the worst game of 2023. Again, don't worry, okay? This was a previous producer of the Grand Theft Auto series. This was going to be a rival to GTA 6. This was him giving a middle finger to Rockstar Games. Come on, this has to work, right? Well, release date came by, and to say it was catastrophic is an understatement. PC Gamer, who was hyping up this game like there was no tomorrow, released this article shortly after its release, saying, "I've played 2 hours of Mindseye and it's pretty bad so far, I'm afraid." The Guardian released their review, saying, "A dystopian future that plays like it's from 2012, giving it a 2 out of 5. And guys, when people say this game is glitchy, they are not exaggerating one bit. There are compilations over 10 minutes long that are like part 1, part 2, part 3. Simply, I mean, look at this. Simply because there are just that many glitches. What the hell is this game? Bro, look at it. 7 years for this. 7 years for this. Oh my god, dude. This post right here says, "This generation's Assassin's Creed Unity. Brothers and sisters, look at it in all its glory." I'm telling you, man, this is a competitor to Silent Hill, not Grand Theft Auto. This is horrendous. Some people tested out the level editor to see if they could swim in the water when they got close, and yeah, apparently you can. Just like Jesus would. And the horror game continues. Guys, I don't even want to delve into how this is even possible. This person's on a stretcher while standing up. Again, I don't know why this is such a common glitch. This doesn't make any sense to me. Wow, this is the main character, by the way. This is the main character in the cutscene, by the way. Yeah, I mean, this is nightmare fuel at this point. I don't know how IO Interactive agreed to publish this. I don't know how PlayStation didn't see the red flags, but there we were, horrors beyond our comprehension. The day after this catastrophe had released, Mindseye said, "Our engineering team are working around the clock while promising a performance update."
Yeah, why were they working on the clock before you released it? Did they even test their own stuff before they released it? To make sure that it's all good? Oh, y'all are losing.
Glitches. This game was crashing and stuttering on some of the most high-end PCs imaginable.
All that money wasted.
Just to be clear, the optimization issues also
all that talent that they have in their staff wasted.
With only 37% of the reviews being positive. Bear in mind, this game also had the gall to sell you a deluxe edition containing a bunch of skins and a premium pass containing extra missions and challenges. Q3 2025, Q4 2025, and Q1 2026. Yeah, that's totally happening. The reviews were talking about just the stuttering and the glitches. This game was very disappointing in practically
every category,
they
laughed because this is crazy.
The story. The problem here was that people were concerned with the story's total length being at 20 hours. Leslie addressed these concerns by saying that this is intentional to ensure players can finish the game in an era of distractions. Probably the worst explanation you could give.
In an era of distractions, the load of BS I am getting put in my face right now. I am the type, I know many who are also just like me, that will spend hundreds of hours in one game in this era. A single player story game or an RPG. I'm talking Yakuza 0, Persona games, or every Yakuza game, Persona games, heck, even Final Fantasy. What the hell kind of excuse is this? What kind of excuse is this? This is giving, do you not have phones? This is giving that kind of energy. Oh, I swear, all these developers and stuff are so out of touch. They're so out of touch.
But hey, Leslie kept insisting this story was going to be amazing until people actually played it and realized this is one of the worst stories they could have ever played in their lives.
And it's a bad story.
Not to mention that the ending was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Look at this. Look at this. It literally ends like this. He just jumps to the portal. That's it. That's it. The game's over. Like you get no other context. You get no other explanation. Deal with it, buddy. Hope you enjoyed the game. You know what's funny in all this? A couple weeks
nah, that's a disrespect to Cyberpunk, especially now since they fixed it. But
someone else said this in the Discord server for Mindseye. A fan asked, "Do you think that all the people who reacted negatively to Mindseye were financed by someone?" To which he replied with, 100%. Doesn't take much to guess who. Indirectly implying that Rockstar Games or Take-Two was paying people to react negatively to this game. Now it's really...
Once again, out of touch. Oh, his head is so far up his own ass. Oh, the denial. I'm sick of y'all. Oh, God, this is so bad. This is really, really bad.
Funny and embarrassing is that barely a day before the game had released, the publisher of Mindseye, IO Interactive, said that they don't believe negative comments were being paid for. The head of IO Interactive specifically said, "I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I just think the game should speak for itself on June the 10th.
And it
boy,
did!
It speak for itself.
It did!
Kotaku made the review and said, Mindseye is an incredibly boring and confusing mess. Yep, it spoke for itself, all right. To me, what's even funnier is the fact that they used up all their marketing budget on streamers. Yes, they paid people to play this live on Twitch, and even those streamers couldn't keep it together because of how bad the game was. With this streamer right here, Dark Viper AU, literally laughing his ass off after the game had crashed for like the 10th time on stream. Like he couldn't handle it anymore. This right here is another sponsored streamer, and this happened live. Watch.
Outrageous cyber infiltrations, even hacked the CIA.
We got him back.
It leaves no footprint ever, other than the occasional fuck.
Move!
Sounds like a true artist.
I just find it so ironic that Extra Emily, out of all people, had a glitch related to her driving. I mean, genuinely, life is truly the master of irony. Around a week after its release, Mindseye finally released a performance patch, and very little was actually improved. It was still glitchy as hell, frame drops were consistent both on PC and console, and overall it was still unplayable by every metric. At its peak on Steam, it had 3,302 players, and right now it's at 52. 52!
Oh, now it's 52.
And what's even crazier is Sony pulling out an extremely rare maneuver that they've only used once for Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous launch,
Sony
which
for this,
actually
for
refund
this.
people who bought the game on the PlayStation Store. Indirectly telling us that to them, even in their eyes, this game is unacceptable. Xbox, on the other hand, wasn't so generous and wasn't refunding anything if you had launched the game at least once. This entire saga came to its conclusion on June 23rd, 2025. When Build a Rocket Boy, the studio behind Mindseye and the Cancelled Everywhere, began the process to conduct a mass layoff.
Here
And
comes
since
the
then,
layoff.
the layoffs have officially taken place. They released a statement. Here's what they had to say. We can confirm that we have had to make the painful decision to notify our hardworking team of some internal changes at Build a Rocket Boy. While we are working to reassign roles for as many of those impacted by these changes as possible, sadly, we are initiating a formal consultation process that may result in redundancies. The decision has not been made lightly, and we are committed to handling this process with transparency, fairness, and respect for all employees. We will provide further details to the team over the coming weeks. The launch of Mindseye has been a significant milestone for Build a Rocket Boy, but we know that we still have a lot more to do to grow our community in the coming years. The challenges we faced have only strengthened our resolve, and while we are deeply saddened by today's decision and thankful to our incredible team, this shift allows us to focus on delivering ongoing updates and performance optimization for Mindseye, while also ensuring the long-term success of Build a Rocket Boy's future ambitions. So look, according to IGN, in the UK, when you start the process for a mass layoff, it's usually when an employer is looking to cut 100 or more jobs. They have 300 UK employees and around 200 abroad in their other studios. So it's safe to say that a huge chunk is getting fired. It's really interesting to me, though, that in their statement, they're saying that there's going to be a long-term success of Build a Rocket Boy, meaning that the studio isn't closing after this disaster. But personally, I'd keep an eye out in the coming months because anything can happen, and I really don't see the studio sticking around for any longer. This was their big chance, and they unfortunately
They
completely
blew
Their
it.
Glassdoor page isn't doing very well, okay? Employees are pissed, rating it a 2.3 out of 5. 30% of them would recommend to a friend, and 26% approve of the CEO, who is Leslie Benzies. One of those employees said, $500 million
That is
invested
a
into this mess.
lot,
No
man.
wonder
That
the
is
biggest
so
backer all
sad.
but pulled out when they finally saw it was actually
And we're talking about the same people from Rockstar, the whole Grand Theft Auto 3, and then GTA Online. And then all that talent. What the hell what happened? Did their standards go down when they went into this new studio? Like, they emphasize how they were the brilliant minds and all that. What the heck happened? All that talent that moved from one capital to another. Let's hope that there's no BS that happens with GTA 6. Now, I don't play. I have played GTA games. I'm not as into it as others. I wish I was. But I really hope for you guys that GTA 6 is good. I really do hope. Because in this economy, spending that much money on a game you really hyped about is scary. Oh my, I hope it all works out. And hope that there's a lot of positive stuff that comes out of it. So, yeah. Ooh.
getting produced. So now we really don't know just how much this cost. We know that over $45 million were invested into it by private investors, but then again, this game was developed over the course of like 8 years. Is this truly
and 8
another
years.
Concord? I mean, Concord was $400 million.
Concord. This is Concord on
And thanks to
reboot.
thegamebusiness.com, we know exactly just how bad of a disaster Mindseye truly was. When it released, it had around 250,000 players, with a majority, around 150,000, on PlayStation. Now that PlayStation has opened refunds, these 150,000 can be significantly less. And the players on PC
Let's
are
see,
only
hold
at
up.
35,000, with only 3,000 actually launched.
So, Sony said they're gonna refund all those who were on PlayStation. So, hold on. And how much was Mindseye? Hold on, let me look up the price of Mindseye. So, that's the. I wonder if it's still. Oh, did it? Okay, so there's deluxe, and then so for the deluxe it's 80, and then standard is 60. So we're gonna do the 60, of course. So hold on. And then count. Okay, so I'm gonna round it, and I'm gonna picture like some of them in their purchase the deluxe. So I'm gonna round it. So that's about $1 million that they have to refund. And their budget apparently at first it said 100 mil. When it really, it said in one of the articles is 500 mil. So yeah, another Concord situation for sure.
Game, so you can bet many of them refunded. Additionally, okay, and this wasn't really advertised until the game came out, the whole level editor that was advertised was only available on PC and not on console. This was even more salt in the wound, okay? This was just such a disaster. Look, of course I feel bad for the employees, but I can't help but feel especially bad for the lead actor. He's actually very talented and was previously in the game Mafia 3. Unfortunately, that game also didn't get the best reception, and now he's part of Mindseye. He was interviewed by the YouTube channel Check It TV after the game had released, and while the interview is like over 21 minutes and part 2 is over 44 minutes, I'm just going to show you a snippet that was posted on TikTok.
I
so that you
feel
can see what
bad
he
for
had to say.
him.
Watch.
He released something that seemed to not
Twice.
be ready in that way. It's had a
He's been in
complicated
a
reception. I'm proud
project
of the
that
people
didn't
that
do
I
well.
worked with. It's a shame that the gameplay in particular has received such negative reception. In terms of bugs, as a gamer myself, I completely understand the frustration.
He cute. So chat.
There's a shared frustration in like, why would you as a company release something that seemed to not be ready in that way? If you put the bugs aside, like whether or not people are into it, that's between them and them, right?
If by any chance there's a casting director watching this video, guys, please hire him.
Hire
Please just put
him.
in a good
We
game.
need
Please.
more
Thank you.
actors like
Look, whether you
this.
can see this or not, we're already in a gaming depression. Layoffs in the industry have been rampant. The golden days of the pandemic are gone, and developers have to accept that. Ambition is good to have, but unrealistic scopes will kill your entire studio. Here's hoping that this stops. But I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of tempted to play this game just to see the crazy glitches I'll find.
It's not the
In the end, though,
pandemic
if you take
anymore.
anything from
Y'all
this
need
video,
to
stop
scale
pre-ordering games.
back.
And thank you so much for watching until the end. I love you so much. The sponsor
this
really wanted me
is
to talk about the
crazy.
game at the end of the video as well. So I'm about to do that. But before I do, I can't leave you without a good old mwah. And now, the ad. All right, thank you so much for watching the video. As a reminder, Silver and Blood is now out, and they're also currently
Silver
running
and
an event
Blood.
by the name of What Hue Does Your Blood Hold, where you can win some really cool prizes. So if you're interested, make sure to check out the pinned comment or the description and download the game today.
Silver and blood. I gotta remember that. Okay, silver and blood. Hold on. Let me take note of that. Let me take note of that because I want to check it out. I see waifus and hot male vampires. Let's go. They got me. They got me. Silver and blood. Okay. It's a gotcha too. But great video. That, oh my gosh. I know there's gonna be more like this. Because the students still think that it's those golden days when they could get a lot of money no matter what. Harsh reality checks are coming. Even more losers. I wish everybody luck from that studio, especially those who got laid off.